So I think one thing that we all realize is that none of us are the same. We're all different in some way. And when we try to be successful in life and in our careers, and also, quite frankly, innovative, we sometimes think we need to be like other innovators. But if you look at it, a lot of the greatest inventions, innovations, have come from people that had a unique perspective or a unique background. And one of my favorite stories about this has to do with champagne. And I was on a trip to France doing some executive education training, and I took a weekend to go to the Champagne region and then down to the Cognac region. And what I learned when I did both of those was that the grapes in those areas were kind of acidic, and they were perfect for making champagne. And when you go down to Cognac, they use a different grape than the Champagne growers do, but it's also very acidic. But it was down in Cognac region that I learned that Champagne really is referring to the chalky soil. It's very dry and barren. And so I thought this was kind of interesting. It's a dry and barren area, and they have these grapes that aren't very good. But it wasn't until I was in New Mexico and I was touring a quite popular Champagne winery. And I asked them, I said, why are you growing grapes in New Mexico? I mean, this doesn't seem like this is a great place to grow wine. And their response was, you're right, it's not a great place to grow wine. That's why we're making champagne. And that's when I really realized that champagne was actually created because they couldn't make very good wine. Because the soil was so chalky and the grapes were very acidic, they couldn't make good wine, so what did they make instead? Champagne. The same thing in the Cognac region. They can't make very good wine there, so what did they do? They worked on a distilled product. So the Champagne principle is really all about finding out what your special resources are, your special backgrounds are, your special techniques, and figuring out what values out there that you have a unique perspective on or a unique competitive advantage. Because if you think about it, if you live somewhere where you make bad wine, would it have occurred to you to make champagne instead? Probably not.